Adrienne, and welcome to Dessert Devotion. I am so delighted to be back in the kitchen, and I'm excited to share with you a new devotional series called Piece of Cake. Who doesn't need more peace in their lives? And so we're going to explore with this series what it takes to bake peace, if you will, into your life every single day. Our featured cake is a chocolate brownie bundt cake. This semi-homemade recipe is pretty easy. We're going to start with a box of chocolate cake mix. Then a box of brownie mix. Then, instead of following the directions on either box, we're going to add 1 cup of oil and 4 beaten eggs. Then I'm going to slowly add 1 1/4 cup water. Now I'm going to liberally spray my bundt pan with Baker's Joy. This is a traditional size bundt pan of only about 10 cups. I'm going to pour my cake batter in my bundt pan and bake it for about 40 minutes on 325 degrees. My oven is really hot. You could try 350, but here's the key. Just be sure not to overbake this chocolate cake. If you go over about 40 minutes, you run the risk of it being too dry. And now that our cake is in the oven, let's settle in for a time of devotion. I want to begin by reading 1 Peter, and this is in the 3rd chapter, verses 10 and 11, where it reads, "Those who desire life and desire to see good days, let them keep their tongues from evil and their lips from speaking deceit. Let them turn away from evil and do good. Let them seek peace and pursue it." As we kick off our Piece of Cake series, where we are thinking about bringing peace into our everyday lives, the key thing I want us to keep at the forefront of our mind as believers is that peace is something that we have to pursue. Peace is something that the Bible teaches us that we must seek. It's not something that just happens to us when we're baptized or happens to us when we join a church or a Bible study or profess our life as Christian believers, as followers of Jesus. Peace is something that is available to us, but it's something that we must pursue in terms of having God's peace, in terms of having that peace of Jesus Christ that is available to us. We have to be intentional about it, y'all. We may sometimes be tempted to think that some people just have more peaceful lives than others, that some people just have less issues, they have less things to worry about, they have fewer things to be concerned with, they don't have as much anxiety, they don't have as much drama going on in their lives, they haven't seen as much trauma. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter about your circumstances. That is not what determines how much peace you have in your life. The level of peace that you experience day to day is completely unrelated to what's actually happening to you. The peace that you have every day is based on your response to what's happening and what rules your hearts. So Colossians in the 3rd chapter and the 15th verse reads, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your heart, to which indeed you were called in the one body, and be thankful." We all have the power to pursue this peace and make the choice each day that peace is going to rule our hearts. If we put those two verses together, the first thing we need to make a decision about is turning away from evil. Making a decision every day that we are going to resist the drama, that we are going to resist getting caught up in conflict, that we are going to resist approaching every day in terms of another battle to be won, another conflict to be won, another engagement in messiness, but that we are going to remove ourselves intentionally. And even though you can't avoid conflict and you can't avoid maybe disagreeing with people or finding yourselves in situations of drama as the church in 1 Peter may have found itself, you can decide that when you approach these things that you are approaching from a place of peace. You're not approaching from a place of anxiety. You're not approaching from a place of anger. You're not approaching from a place of competitiveness or self-centeredness, but you are approaching your life and even your conflicts and even your strife, even those things that are going wrong in your life in your eyes. You are approaching those things from that basis of God's peace. That's the most important thing. And remember that you have a choice to allow peace to rule your hearts. And this is important, right? If we want to bake peace into our everyday lives, we have to make the choice that peace will rule our choices. Peace will rule our tongues, right? Peace will rule our words. Peace will rule how we treat one another. Peace will rule our everyday actions and decisions that we make. Not anger, not frustration, not jealousy, not discontent, not discord. Not even giving real estate to other people that may be rummaging around in our heads, right? And influencing our attitudes and our thoughts about ourselves and how we interact with others. But we make the choice, and we have the power as believers to make the choice to let peace rule in our hearts. So as we are on this journey of peace, the first thing we need to remember is that peace is something to be pursued. And if we want to see peace baked into every single day of our lives, it begins with our choice of taking back our power to allow peace to rule in our hearts. Let's go out there and pursue it, y'all. With my cake out of the oven, I'm going to start on my ganache. I've heated 1 cup of heavy whipping cream in the microwave for about 2 minutes until it's bubbling. And now I'm adding an entire bag of chocolate chips. It's about 12 ounces. And of course, my favorite is Ghirardelli. Now I'm going to wait for my chocolate chips to melt in the cream. I'm going to let it sit undisturbed for about 4 to 5 minutes. Now it's ready for me to whisk it until it's smooth. And when I'm satisfied that it's blended together well, I'll let it sit for another minute. And now I'll just pour this all over my cake. Just make sure the cake is completely cool. My kids thought this looked like a giant donut, so we couldn't resist putting sprinkles on there as well. Well, I pray that this recipe will help you bake a little peace into your home. Don't forget your power to pursue peace. Thanks for joining me for a new dessert devotion. Don't forget to check out more sweet recipes on my website at desertdevotion.com.